Okay, for the second part of this target, this again is our standard is operations and polynomials. Target 8A again, and this video is going to look at adding and subtracting polynomials. Now, when you basically add and subtract polynomials, really all you're doing is combining like terms. Remember, like terms have to have the same variable and the same exponent on those variables. And to combine them, all you got to do is just look at the number out in front, the coefficient, and just add it or subtract it depending on the operation that's being done. There's two ways to do this. There is a horizontal format, which you'll see here, in which each polynomial is written horizontally, or you could write it vertically, in which each column represents a like term. For instance, here the 2x cubed and the x cubed are in the same column. The x squareds are in the same column. The x to the first powers are in the same column, and if there's no x to the first power term in one of your polynomials, then you just leave that blank, and then the constants are in a column. So let's take a look at how we go ahead, and this is an addition problem because, as you can see, the parentheses, all they do is represent that you're adding two three-term polynomials called trinomials. The operation between the addition shows that we're adding them, okay? So all you have to do is you look for your like terms, and we like to have this in standard form, even though your polynomials here may not be in standard form. So we've got a 2x cubed here, and we've got an x cubed here. We're going to add those together, and you get 3x cubed. Now we look for, again, we look for exponents of 2. Well, right here is a term that is a negative 5x squared, and here is a positive 2x squared. So what's negative 5x squared plus 2x squared would be a negative 3x squared. And now you look for an x to the first power, which is right here. Remember, that's got an exponent of 1 on it, and there is no x to the first power over here. So it's basically we just write that next term down. And then finally we look for our constant, which is right here, and there's no other constant to combine it with. So that right there is your polynomial when you've added those two together. Okay, now we can do this same thing but vertically. So now you've already got the like terms grouped together. Again, your x cubes, your x squareds, your x term, and your negative 1. All you got to do is then just combine them together. So again, 2x cubed plus 1x cubed is 3x cubed. You've got your negative 5x squared plus 2x squared is negative 3x squared. You've got your x term, which there's nothing to combine it with. And you got your minus 1 with it. There's nothing to combine it with. So right there is your answer. And the nice thing is it's in standard form. Vertical form is a little easier because to work with, because everything's already, the like terms are already in the same column, so it's easier to see. Now you try this one. Go ahead and pause the video and try this one on your own. Okay. Now, the difference here between the other ones, you may have treated this like an addition problem where you just combine like terms. Well, unfortunately, this is a subtraction problem. So what we're doing is we're subtracting each of these three terms here from these three terms. So unlike addition where you can just start combining like terms, you have to be a little careful on this. And what we think about this as a negative 1 out in front here. And we're going to distribute that negative 1 to every term in the second polynomial. We're going to rewrite this. You don't have to do this with addition, but you do have to do it with subtraction. So the first polynomial you just write out. 4x squared minus 3x plus 5. Now, the thing is, the second polynomial, you've got to be a little careful with. You take this negative 1 times a positive 3x, that's negative 3x squared. Take this negative 1 times negative x, that's a positive x. Notice how all of the terms in the second polynomial are changing sign. A negative 1 times a negative 8 is a positive 8. Now you can go ahead and combine your like terms. Notice again, This went positive, negative, negative, but by multiplying that negative 1 through, it goes negative, positive, positive. We don't do anything with the first one. So we look for our like terms. 4x squared minus 3x squared is 1x squared. We look for our x terms, x to the first. There's an x to the first there. There's an x to the first there. Negative 3x, excuse me, I went a little bit over to the 5 there. Negative 3x plus x would be a minus 2x. And then finally, plus 5 plus 8 would be positive 13. And that's what you get when you subtract those two polynomials. And we should get the same answer even if we do it vertically. Now, here's the thing is, this doesn't look like to be exactly the same. Oh, it's not the same problem as before. But here's how we could do two expressions vertically. Now, notice it still is a subtraction problem. However, we're subtracting all three of these terms. So just like before, we need to rewrite it and distribute this negative to all of the terms in the last polynomial. So basically what we'll do is we'll do this. If I distribute that, this is going to be 2x squared minus 2x plus 4. And then we aren't going to do anything to the top one. So we go 4x squared and then put the plus 5 above the constant. And then we just go ahead, and now what we do is we just combine them together. Now we're just adding. Once we distribute that negative through, we're basically just adding. So this is 6x squared. There's nothing to combine with the minus 2x. And then plus 9. And there is your answer.